What's up, everybody? Unrested back again with another JFAQ. Today's our JFAQ is going to be about, can I come to Japan with zero Japanese ability? Which is a great question. I get this asked quite a bit, and I think I've actually never made any kind of video about this. I've made videos about speaking Japanese, and maybe about speaking English in Japan, but not a video about whether or not you can come to Japan with no Japanese. Well, right away I'm going to answer that question with a yes. You can come here, live here, start a job here with zero Japanese. I know this is possible because I did it. Yeah, I tried to study, I should say, Japanese for 6 months before I came here, and what I did not know was that I was studying Kanto dialect when I would be moving to Osaka, where there's Kansai Ben dialect, and yeah, I didn't understand pretty much anything anybody was saying at all whatsoever, and a lot of the stuff that I had studied was pretty useless. I had tried to study Keigo, and the Keigo was the polite language, the watakushi and stuff like that. Nobody talks like that. When you get to Japan, Keigo is only used in the most very, very polite and strict business meetings. Otherwise, you just don't use it. You use casual Japanese, street Japanese, and I could not speak any of that. I was a bit surprised. I will try to reiterate to you, though, that only a handful of people that you're going to meet are going to be able to speak English at a native level, or a fluent level, or even a level where they can form full sentences with proper grammar. English is very, very low here, but you can get by without Japanese. The reason for that being, my personal belief, the Japanese are very patient, very understanding, and they're willing to work with you via gestures, trying to write some stuff down, which is kind of amazing that a lot of Japanese people, although they cannot speak English, know how to write quite a few things in English. And there's even been times where, when I very first got here 8 years ago, I spoke zero Japanese. I had interactions where I bought entire setups, for example, cable in my house, internet in my house, via the girl at the booth writing up all my information, literally communicated with me by writing down everything she wanted to say to me because she just could not speak English, or perhaps was afraid her pronunciation or grammar would not work out, that I would understand it. I probably would have, but she was perhaps shy about that. But nonetheless, she did her best to try, because that's the great customer service you get here. On top of that, you will start to find out that the theory that communication is 80% gestures and 20% speech is very true. You would be surprised how much you can get done with gestures. And on top of it, the one thing I want to say is, if you are going to come here and you are going to speak English, you won't have any Japanese. Perhaps you're just visiting. There's no reason to learn the entire language for just a really quick visit to Japan, unless you're hardcore Japanophile. This is my advice. When you speak English, do not use big words. Use the most basic English you can imagine. Do not speak quickly. Do not mumble. Speak clearly. There's a lot of people here in Japan who can understand some basic words of English, but they're not going to understand slang. They're not going to understand metaphors or similes or inside jokes or jokes related to your media or TV. That won't make any sense. Sarcasm does not work out well here, but speaking clearly, slowly, directly, and with the most basic words you can think of can help you communicate in English should you come here to Japan with no Japanese at all. Now, my advice also is to those of you staying long term, please learn the language. Please. The only people I see who do not learn the language here and stay here long term tend to turn out very bitter. They tend to turn out hateful of the country that they're staying in, just because they didn't take the time to learn the language, which is amazing to me. Hating a country for not being able to communicate with you in their own language, and not learning your language from a country they have nothing to do with. That's completely selfish, and I don't understand why some people have that viewpoint. Even I myself, although I've learned to speak Japanese, it's still very bad. My grammar is horrible. 2015, my New Year's resolution is I am beginning Japanese lessons with a private teacher, so it's going to be a very intensive study of the most detailed aspects of the language this Monday. So hopefully my grammar situation will be sorted out. And I'd also like to be able to speak about things like politics and science. Those are topics that when I start to get into that realm, my language just falls apart. Anyway, guys, until next time, I'm Unrested. This was JFAQ. If you like what you saw here today, please like, comment, and subscribe.